Om Shanti, everyone, and welcome, whatever time of day or night. I saw a little chat say 4:30 a.m. Australia, so we have from all over our beautiful family. I hope you have your translation plugged in at the bottom of the screen, interpretation. And I believe we have an hour and a half together. And the first hour, I will ask questions of Mara and Ken. And the last half hour, we are saving for you to chat, to type in your questions. So if you have questions as we go, maybe wait to listen and see if your question is answered. And then when it's time for questions, you can begin to type. So I hope that's all right. So this is Sister Judy from Canada, and I want to thank Marcelo Bai, actually, because it was his inspiration to do this. I think just a real feeling of bhavna for all of us children of God, Baba's children, BK students out there in the family, knowing that we're about to face a wave of financial intensity. Many of us in the family have lived with this for some time, but for some it will be new, and at a world level it will be quite new. So we're here to learn together today, I guess, the spiritual principles and the practical actions that will help us remain secure, stable, confident in times of financial insecurity. And with us today, the reason you're all here is we have two of Baba's trusted children, instruments, and world server souls. Brother Ken, living in Brazil, responsible for all of service in Central and South America. And Sister Mara, living in Portugal, responsible for service there. So two jewels, and I get to ask the questions, which we had a little chat about some of the questions we thought would be useful. And I guess for me, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking there's two situations. There's, am I feeling insecure? Because having money, not having money, two scenarios. Am I feeling secure is really the issue, with or without money at the individual level. But then there's also those of us also thinking about as an instrument, to support others who are facing intense financial insecurity. And how do we support them in a most yukti manner? So those are the two angles. Are you yourself experiencing some of the challenge? And then as an instrument, how to be supportive of others. So I think we'll begin. I'm going to ask both of you, Ken and Mara, if you can just share to start, what are some of the situations you're seeing? What are some of the things that BK students, that our family are dealing with at this time? Maybe we'll start with you, Ken, and then we'll ask Mara just to share some examples first of what you're seeing.
First of all, Om Shanti to everyone. This is a great initiative from Marcelo Bai. I think there'll be some further conversations with other panelists about the issues concerning the situation the world is going through. What I can see from where I am, in fact, I'm in our retreat center, so I don't have any contact physically with anyone, hardly, except a few who come to class or living in the retreat center, actually, or a couple of students who live nearby. So I don't see anyone, but I'm aware of what's happening on the world just through the media, and I'm aware also that there's a lot of exaggeration here and there. It's very difficult to get a clear picture of things, but it seems to me that the politicians are quite confused and they're running all over the place, because in those countries where they have elections, there's a lot of electioneering going on, trying to make mileage out of the problem that we're facing, or other trying to make money out of the problem. So there's a lot of confusion and a lot of panic. And as it dribbles down to the Brahmin family, of course, none of us are completely free from it. In fact, we've got a teacher in Fortaleza, the northeast of Brazil, who he contracted the virus from his parents, and he had 75% of his lungs compromised by the virus. He finally pulled through, and now he's recovering. We've got a few situations like that. I can also see that some of the BKs are already going through financial difficulties. For example, I know that there's one of our teachers in another city in Brazil. She's a massagist by profession. Of course, they're not working. Her son is a car salesman, so no one's buying cars. And her daughter-in-law lost her job, so there are three of them in the house, and not one of them is earning any money. So there is definitely a lot of fear. A lot of uncertainty. Maybe the Brahmin will stick through it using faith and so on, but still, if you've got family members who are going through difficulties, children or grandchildren, even you're in Guyana and they are not, there certainly must be some worry about elderly parents also is a concern. And so a lot of the things that we were taking for granted have been taken away from us. We're being obliged to be more respectful and really practice the Maryadas Maryadas are actually social distancing by nature. We're not supposed to hug and cuddle anyone. So we're being obliged to be more simple in our tastes. Some of the food products that we were used to, you can't get. Some of the medicines that you could get, you can't get. Things like that, especially in a small town like where our retreat centre is, there's a lot of things not available. And movement is restricted, so we don't get around. It's a lot of only, I guess, even though in the country they're supposed to be going around with masks on and practicing this self-quarantine and so on, but still very few cities have more than 50% of the people practicing these things. So there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty, and some Brahmins are already being affected either by the illness itself or by the economic consequences. So that's more or less what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ken. That's great. Mara, what are you seeing where you are?
Hello, everyone. It's very nice to be here. It's a different setting, because we are online this time. And I think we were not prepared for what is happening at the moment. We knew it could happen at some time, and then all of a sudden we are in this situation. We have been in this lockdown for around 2 months now. Since we arrived from Madhuban, we never left the center anymore. Most of the people the same. So this really creates a very huge situation in all levels. And people, they really follow. They follow. People, at least in Europe, they say Portuguese are good in following. And so people are keeping at home. But you can see many things going on at the same time. For example, what I can see is all the different sanskars showing up outside in the worldly scene. Okay, so people taking advantage or fear or many things going on simultaneously, but also good things going on. Many people helping. They are trying to use their skills to help others. So all together. So bad sanskars, good sanskars, at the same time acting. And also lots of uncertainty. Portugal is not a rich country, so people are facing really the loss of jobs, many people in what they say, they told people they should, or the companies, they should not send people off, because otherwise if they have no job, what to do? All the community has no job. What's going to be? So they told them you should not, send them off. So there is a name for this, I forgot now. But then the government's trying to help as much as they can. But also in the Brahmin family, we see the same, people were not prepared. So you imagine nearly 2 months inside your home without a job is a big issue. Or if you have to take care of a center, and in many cases, people, they don't live in the center. So it means you have your home to take care, and you also have to take care of a center. So how are you going to do it if you don't have a job anymore? If people are not coming to the center anymore? So, we are going to talk about this later on. But I also see many good things going on, like, Brahmins trying to help as much as they can, being very open. Even this, whatever we are doing online, is helping a lot, all the family. So this is being together. So we have both sides, what is going on in the world outside and is affecting us, but at the same time, what is the newness it is bringing to each one of us. So we've been doing lots of meditation together, so many classes going on, all these, things like this going on. So this is great. Mm-hmm. So we are using what we have best. Mm-hmm. So I think it's enough.
Thank you, Mara. I think all of us that are listening here can tell stories in our own situation, and so I think you've covered many of the different situations, with our families, on our own, in the center. And both of you said, you said, Mara, we're not quite prepared. It's interesting, we were in Madhuban together in February, and Sister Janti had said, now is the time where it will all erupt. Do you remember that? And that was before COVID really became known. And I've had those words in my ears for the last couple months that, just noticing what's erupting in me, which is great, it's going to go. But there have certainly been eruptions, and we see the eruptions in the world. We know that, the Yagya went through a beggary period. So if we focus on the financial aspect, for many people in our world, including many BKs, they have not had a lot of money. They've not had a great deal of financial security. But even having a little to put my sense of security in my bank account means that if that shakes, then I shake. So we are now in a global situation where that is shaking. We have examples. Brahma Baba and the Yagya lived through a period of beggary, the beggary period, where there was actually no money in the bank. There was no money. And we can learn from that experience. And I'm curious if, and Ken in particular, I'll give this question for you, what were the spiritual principles and what were the practical? Now, many of us have heard these stories and studied them. And so I think it's probably a nice time to highlight, what are the lessons from that period that are useful for us now. But also I'm curious if it's a rite of passage for all of us to face a period where whatever security we thought we had, disappears. Is that just part of the journey? So Ken, maybe if you can address that in terms of spiritual principles and practical things that they did, Brahma Baba and the daddies did in those early days during the beggary period, and what's useful to us now from that, and this question of rite of passage.
I think it was what carried things forward was Brahma Baba's complete faith. And those that were with him, they were absolutely certain that nothing would happen majorly. Mm-hmm. And of course, we know, according to this history, that was also a sorting out, because when they came from Pakistan, there were about 250, 300 people with Baba. But when they started to go through difficulties, the relatives of these BKs that started to waver put so much pressure on them that they left. And so we ended up with around 80 or 100 people from those original jewels. Mm-hmm. And so it was a sorting out. And I think also that will happen, because if we have blind faith that Baba will protect us anyway, it will not happen. It's really a result. And what we're noticing too, we've been doing extra tapasya, like in many places. And in fact, we just finished a week of tapasya and going right into it in Spanish, and then in Portuguese, and then in English. English was mainly to help the African countries. And we started another retreat on the Mariadas. So we're going to the depth of each Mariada, because we believe that if we strengthen our internal state, we may not have everything, but we definitely will have the dal and the chapati that Baba promises. And if we go into the meaning of because you understand French, and you probably understand this, because the word prosper comes from Latin. Pro espere means for waiting. It's for hoping. And so it's actually good wishes in a way, that I have the wish that something will happen, and that's prosper. I have the wish that things will get better. But those wishes have to be very accurate. They have to be backed up by something very powerful. And on the other side, poverty, again, is a word that you'll recognize from French, pauvre. It comes from, it means poor in Latin means little. So it means to produce little. So if my production, and this we can see in those days, what we produce may be little, but it should have a big impact. Mm-hmm. It should stand alone in a way. And so if I'm a candidate for a job, and there are 90 other candidates, and I'm the only one that has really good wishes for myself, I really know my own value, and that's backed up by my connection with Baba, then the drama will find a way to make sure that I will just have what I need rather than what I want. And this is the thing, reducing things, and Baba does say that the things in the beginning will repeat in the end. So I believe that there will be a sorting out. The ones who are really going to stay are the ones that, die hard, sort of dyed-in-the-wall Brahmins. They will be really not prospering in the worldly sense, but having enough to do whatever they have to do and to serve the community. I really believe that. And the ones that are sort of a little bit shaky in their faith, they don't have that sort of, they maybe got blind faith in Baba's protection, they won't handle it pretty well. So we have to look at what are the wishes we have for ourselves, what is the value, the real value that I give to myself, and that will help me to stay standing no matter what happens.
Sister Janti said to the Middle East and Europe that there were the two spiritual principles, that I have to have this sense of abundance, which is like you're saying good wishes. I'm just abundant in good wishes. And the other is I had to put Baba first, so that the full faith was there. Yeah. That Baba has taken care of me, will take care of me, but on the basis of what? Can you fill in the blanks there, Ken?
What I produce.
What I produced.
In terms of my spiritual effort, in terms of vibration in the world, in terms of my own value, making my own value have some sort of an impact, the real value, the true value of the soul. And the universe will recognize that.
Mm-hmm. And then the drama responds and takes care of me. Maraben, could you tell a story about faith, please? Because you've got one. Baba's, his almost one of the last meetings we had with him was the four faiths: faith in self and God, and in drama and family. And so, how have you share your story, please, about how faith really moves mountains when it comes to prosperity?
Mm-hmm. So in Portugal, we have a very interesting story. And I think that everything we have, because we have a very special center, that I would say that in the local sense, in the world outside, we would never be entitled to this. So everything we got, because it's a very huge house, and I'm sure that in the process of getting this place, the question of money was not there. That was something else. So this feeling of abundance, of prosperity, and also complete faith that if we are doing Baba service, if this is for everyone, so this will happen. Doesn't matter how things will become possible in some way. So then I think that complete faith is what has to move us ahead. So, but complete faith means we have to live out of it. There is not a percentage in faith. If you say I have 50% faith, this is not faith. It means when you have faith, it means doesn't matter what happens, you are fully there. Baba is your backbone. Things will happen. It doesn't matter. It is like in the beginning when Brahma Baba was there with this 400 people for taking care of them. So he had to trust 100%, 1000% that his Baba was there with him and everything would be fine. So this is the same for us. If I trust Baba, if I have faith, Baba is with me. So nothing can go wrong. What can go wrong? If you have God with you. But this is good talking. But to live out of it, this is something else. You must experience in your daily life. You must live out of it. You must be sure that whatever Baba has given to you till now is there in your life. It's present there every time, every moment. So then this is trusting God. Then trust in the self. So if Baba says to you, Baba says so many beautiful things to us every day, so we can keep our self-respect. So why do we forget it? So if we are the children of God and Baba has come to us, why couldn't we make the impossible possible? Everything is possible. So, and Baba has been telling us who we are truly. So I must have this faith in myself. If Baba could do it, Brahma Baba, if our daddies could do it, if our seniors can do it, if our equals can do it, can't I do it? I have to have faith in myself. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm here, and Baba will feed me with whatever is needed for the right moment. I must trust it. Then we also have faith in drama. And so now we have a very good opportunity to see how much faith in drama we really have, isn't it? Because so much is going on everywhere. And then is my faith shaken? Also, do I believe or do I remember how many times Baba told me these things would happen at some point? So do I trust that whatever is in drama is accurate, or I'm fearing now? Do I have any kind of fear? Because situations are not nice at the moment, but not nice for everyone. But at least we have Baba with us, we have knowledge with us, we have this faith inside ourselves. So we know who we are, we know where we are going to. So we must have complete faith in drama. If you ask what, why, this is not faith. This is something else. And then faith in the BK family. this is a big issue also. And I remember something that when we started in this lockdown, there were many conversations inside the European Union, the government. They were meeting together. And then at some point, something came up, and then someone asked, look, we are working together as an European Union. If we don't trust each other, if we are not really helping each other, how can we call us European Union? Is it going to last when it's all finished? If we don't help each other, is it good? Does it look good? And so then they had to think about it. So this is the same for the BK family. So we've been saying beautifully year after year, we are BK family, we are all together, we are one together with God. So there is no race, there is no country, we are all one. So now is the time to prove it. So we have to, as much as possible, work together, look after each other very beautifully and nicely. Not I am here, you are there. If you remember someone, you call them, you call him, you call her. Which step are you giving? In which way are you helping? And so we need to trust each other. We have to have faith in this beautiful family, that together we can, show something special to the world. So that's it.
Thank you, Mara. Listening to you radiate faith, which is a beautiful thing to see, and the light behind you shows there too. Like connecting a little bit to what Ken was saying, it sounded at the beginning that what you were focused on for this building was just bringing benefit, which is kind of using Ken's words, what you're producing. Your focus was on the benefit, not on the money, and then the money came. And that's maybe one of our spiritual principles, is that we're focusing on, Ken was saying, spiritual effort. What have I produced? So in other words, the effort that I'm making, whereas my focus on generating value in terms of giving good wishes, giving benefit to others, and then trust that drama will protect, drama will bring. So my effort is on myself, as always, we know. But so for those who aren't feeling as much faith, they're the ones that would be shaking. Then what?
Yes. So this is a very good moment to practice it, because I think faith, it comes with us also. We have this inside us, but we have to develop at the same time. Mm-hmm. So then how can you develop faith? You just see what is been going on in your life till now. Then you keep moving a little bit ahead each time, and then you see how much your faith will improve. So, and then rely on Baba. If you are doing the right thing, this has been my experience always. If you are doing the right thing, the right outcome will come. Mm-hmm. If I may, I will give you a very practical example. So last year we were doing a very big event. It was an international event, and then we had to invest lots of money, and then the idea was many people will benefit. So if many will benefit, we have to do it. We will do it. There is no doubt we are going to do it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So people helped whatever they could, they gave their help. But I said, Portugal is not a rich country, so whatever they could help, they helped. And so we have to rely on Baba also, because if I'm doing the right thing, he's also there, he's my backbone. Mm-hmm. So he's there for me if I am in need. And I had such a wonderful experience, because I was talking to Baba, and really, I was thinking like this, on my desk, and say, look, Baba, we are doing this work, and that money is not enough. And we will have to touch our savings. Baba, we are going to touch our savings. There is no other way. What should we do? And I tell you, at this very moment, I received a phone call. It was incredible. I was just there. It was not local phone call, international phone call from another part of the world, someone who knows us. And this person said, "Sister, I know you are doing this very huge program, and maybe you are in need. Maybe you need some help." I couldn't believe it, even myself. It was so much, the response was so immediate because I couldn't even believe it. But then, can you trust Baba is there with you or not? So then with this help, this soul who was touched by Baba, we could do so many things. So this is how you develop faith.
I remember when I had a period of personal beggary, personal beggary period. I remember I made one promise to Baba: I will not worry. And that was it. And I had to revisit my promise on a daily basis, several times a day. And then little miracles happened, and suddenly I was generating again. But it was like I had to pass through that period where it was like testing my faith. And it was there, but I had to use it. And I had to use it every day. And it was the hardest thing I ever did, was just trust that he would be there, and then drama produced. So I hear that's a bit what you're talking about too. The faith has to be practiced. We have to use it. Ken, can you talk a little bit about, we've been practicing this 5 forms. Again, another instruction from Baba, one of his last instructions, 8 times a day. However many times we're doing it, each of us, but it's there as a practice. And I'm wondering, in some of the subtle aspects inside of us that generate this poverty or this prosperity, how this 5 forms affects our prosperity, I guess, and our sense of security.
I mean, there are ways to go through that, people may be doing it by rote. They may just be doing that because it's a drill rather than an experience. And this is, I'm personally concentrating on the bodiless state more than anything, because that is probably the most important of the stages. And also feeling very close to the future. So like the cycle is finishing, right? So we're aware of the cycle. We're aware of what happened. I was this happened, that happened, that happened, that happened, now this, and now something else is coming ahead. So I need to become the embodiment of what all of that implies. That means that I am a soul. I am equidistant from all of my different bodies, even this one. I'm different from this body as I am. I'm as different from this body as I am from my previous one. And I think if we look at and make too much of the cycle, in a way, it's all about depletion of the original state. And that's how come we ended up where we were. We started off with everything, total abundance. And then we started to betray ourselves in our relationship with matter. And we became more and more caught up in the consequences of that, interacting with other people, interacting with matter, interacting with other species even, and to the extent that we even developed this coronavirus. Interaction with different animals, it seems. But in any case, the story is about the rise and the fall. So I should be at this time concentrating on the rise. And it's not just to make money enough for now. I have to create the fortune for the whole cycle. And that's the thing, So where am I in relationship to my future? And I remember also, I mean, there's so many stories. As Mara was talking, I was remembering. I was literally asked to come to Brazil by Daddy and Didi Manmohini, Daddy Prakash Mani. And then I met Bab Dada, and I said, Baba, you want me to go to South America? And Baba said, yes, you go. And so I had the feeling that personally, literally, he was sending me to a place. So if he sent me to a place, why should I worry? And it's true. I never have worried about where the people come from. Because if Baba's sending me to a place, and I arrived here with $200 and just a lot of faith. And also I couldn't work in my profession because it was difficult to ratify whatever I had studied. So I had to find and do everything. But Baba has everything panned out. And make the most of the present. That was the lesson all along. Make the most of the present. Because Baba, one of the best instructions I've heard from Baba is to stay at the confluence. It's not just the confluence age, which is sort of parallel to the Iron Age, but it's the confluence stage of everything that's happening. You know, it's like a different dimension to the normal run of events. And so the 5 drills, the 5 stages that we go through should remind me more than anything that I live in the confluence age. I don't live in the Iron Age anymore. Mm-hmm. And secondly, that if I'm in a bodiless state, I'm also above the dualities. I'm not reachable by the things of Kali Yuga, and that includes the virus, does not reach the soul. It can't reach the soul, actually. Nothing from Kali Yuga can really reach the soul if it's in that bodiless state. So I think the big lesson of all of those drills is that one, that I have to become more bodiless. And it's funny because it's as if the drama or whatever, the events around us, actually the karma changes. All of this stuff about prosperity and lack of it is connected with the way we've interacted in the past. So it's not now that I have to make up for whatever I've done to get in the situation of debt that I've arrived in, whether it's a physical debt or a financial debt or a relational debt. So I have to make the most of the present, and I have to make the most of being in the confluence rather than in the Iron Age at the moment. So
you have had full faith from the beginning. What would you say to someone who is wobbling and therefore experiencing the insecurity of these times?
I think work on, for me anyway, is just to work on this feeling that Baba needs the soul, Baba needs us in our different capacities, to recognize the self, to recognize the value of the self, and not in an ingenuous way, like a naive sort of way, but I am here because Baba saw something in the soul, and I could pick that up, and I started to work with it. And, no one is an obstacle, and nothing is an obstacle except me. I'm my only obstacle. Nothing is blocking me. No one else is blocking me. Even if I suffer from other people, it's actually my own impure sanskars that are making me suffer, having been touched by them. So I think I have to recognize the value of the soul and the value of what Baba has given me, and make that value work in instant by instant. I think that's the only thing I can do. I know I will start to see a change. Because if I start to organize myself differently internally, the things around me will organize themselves differently externally. That's how it works.
And
if I look at the world around me, it's exactly the externalization of my sanskars. So when I look at my situation, that's me I'm seeing. Those sand scars have popped out of me and produced situation. So why can't I just, if I work on them, and that's what yoga is all about. If I change my sand scars, I will change my karmic root.
So the sand scars in me have produced a situation where I'm terrified about not having any money.
That's it.
Then what?
It's the results of something.
I change my sanskara. I change that.
I have to work on the basics. There's nothing else to do. I've got two choices. I can sit around in my little hole somewhere and mope and, feel sorry and just feel bad. Or I can look at the value of the soul and remember that I am this pure being, and that Baba gives me such value, and I have to work on that. There's no other alternative, one or the other. You take your pick.
Thank you. That's so clear.
You can suffer, or you can start moving upwards.
It is so clear, stated simply like that, isn't it? And then we begin to trust even the smallest action when it's in the direction of what Baba wants us to do becomes the karma that gets us out of our little hole. So then we ultimately trust our karma, because that's all we can trust in the end. There's no amount of money in the bank I can trust.
Well, yesterday, I was giving a transmission for South Africa, or the African teachers, and in the middle of the talk, there was a blackout. So, it's like, so I had to go on my cell phone and continue with the chat. I had to go on the. They don't here where we are. They're not 4G; it's 3G. So it worked. But then I was later on talking to Luciana. Soon we'll be in a place that there's no internet, no electricity, maybe no water, no food. We're finding sorts of foods, the sort of food we can eat in the jungle around here. There's a lot of things that we can eat, so we won't probably starve. But it's like green bananas and the cassava roots and things like that. But that's it, But we have to prepare ourselves for a moment when the only thing that I have is my relationship with God. If I lose the body, if I lose everything around me, if all of these things are removed from my presence, I will still exist. And I'll be a soul close to God. That's the sort of clarity I need to have.
Yeah, that's our focus. Mara, what have you been doing? What you said at the beginning here that we weren't prepared for this, and so I think we have a much clearer view now of what preparation we need. As an instrument, can you share practical things that you feel are helpful at this time that you and others have been doing to support in this time of, crisis and challenge. But also when you think about being better prepared, like what is the preparation that feels like it's more needed now?
I think that we have to take care of each other. This is the main thing. So we must be sure we are sharing with everyone in whatever way is possible, whatever we have. So, okay, if you are in the center, here in the center, let's say like this. So since in the morning, since Amrit Vela, we are here together. So we are together. If they want to be with us, we are here with them. We have Murli for everyone. They can see us. They can listen to us. So we put all the country together, not here and there, everyone together. And then we tried to find out, different activities we could share with the public. So we are also doing this a few times a day. So whatever we have we can share, we are sharing. And with the BK family, whatever is going on around the world, with translation, or sometimes we get a translation from Brazil, sometimes we translate ourselves, we participate and let everyone participate, the BK family, in all the activities. And it keeps everyone very much in tune and not anxious, but they know we are here for them. They know we are together. So, and also every week we try to talk with a group of people, and so to see how they are, what they are doing, if they are in need, if they need anything. So what can we do to help? So this helps a lot. So this is incredible, you know. Also, you have to be stable. Now this is the practice. So Baba wants us instruments, we became, all of us, to be stable, because whoever is there around us, they will follow us. If you are stable, they will also be stable. If you are shaking, they will also shake. So this is very important here. I feel that things will come back in normal. I don't know when, you know, it will take some time, maybe a good amount of time, I don't know. So then what I mean is, we still have some time to be more accurate in terms of, you know, having some extra food in the house, in our private houses, in Baba Center, some resources we may not have now. Mm-hmm. So it's like a rehearsal. Baba has been saying many times, there'll be a rehearsal. So we are going through one now. Mm-hmm. So then we have to know about ourselves, which is the need. For example, if our country goes into some this kind of situation again in future, so what should I do from now on to be sure I have some extra with me? Because each country is different, each culture is different, each economy is different. Each one will have to deal with the situation in a different way. So, and also I think something we have to put in practice more than ever is generosity. So whatever I have is not only for me. I have to learn how to share it. As much as you learn how to share whatever, you know, you share knowledge, you share, now we are doing lots of tapasya, so you share vibrations, you share whatever you have, you share everything. If food is needed, you share food. If whatever is needed, you share. You know, physical things, spiritual things, you know, whatever you have inside yourself, you share. So I think this is one of the main important things for the present moment.
Yeah.
You learn with experience. So we see now what is going on. Because I always think that, for example, if something really big happens, and it is happening now, all the borders are closed. It means, you know, where in future, if it happens again, where is the food coming from? And so on.
We're finding here that people are just amazed that we're still giving. And the blessings that we get back is even just to see your face made me happy or made me stable, or, you know, and they're sending donations, and they just feel like you're taking care of us is what they feel like, which is actually what Baba wants, for them all to feel cared for. When it comes to practical things, and Ken, this one for you, you know, I know when people here have had financial challenges, you know, the instruction from Daddy in the early days was always, well, just put a little bit in Baba's box, but make sure you do it every single week or month, the same amount. So the principle of putting Baba first, and even if it's a tiny donation, the fact that you're doing it consistently means you stabilize your own self and you stabilize your own karma in relation to money. And I've noticed here the people that have done that, you know, they were wobbly before financially and now they're stable. They're not rich, but they're stable. You know, it's not a constant pull on their minds, their financial worries. You know, they feel we're good, we're okay. So, I mean, I've seen how that's just practically proven to be such a valuable action, practical action. I'm wondering, a lot of people are asking things now about practically what can we and should we do. So things like loans and, hiring BKs to do things so that they make money. All of this whole domain of, Mara saying, let's help each other as much as we can. Can you speak a little bit to the practical application of helping each other when it comes to finances? So I know lots of people are having those questions. I've seen on the chat and have heard.
Well, it's very difficult for Brahmins to get involved in lending money to other Brahmins. It really has never worked out in the past. Whenever that's happened, it's just led to a disaster. So we shouldn't think about lending money to other Brahmins, but what you said is a good idea, that if you need some help and you know that someone's out of work, and get them to do it and pay them something for the work. But we shouldn't get into the trap of just we can let's say we can be available for help. For example, a lot of people in this situation are extremely depressed, and so we've got a group in Latin America that helps people in that situation. Or if you really need help, you have to ask around who can help you. There are some professional BKs that may be able to help. And of course, if you don't have money, it's very hard to get professional help, but maybe you have some friends. Because one of the worst things you can do is to start to get stuck into that, that non-movement that depression causes, and you just go around and around in circles. But I mean, if we know that there are some who may have that tendency, we should definitely help them with some sort of practical advice. And what we're experiencing here is we're connecting up 4 times a week at the time of the Murli with the visitors as well. Practically all of the Brahmins in the whole country are online, and it's like almost 300. And so the Paka Brahmins, and it's such a wonderful feeling of solidarity and family feeling that we get. So if you have some difficulty, the first thing to do is to reach out to someone, reach out to the coordinator of your center, reach out to the national coordinator, to ask, look, I'm in this situation. I really think that I need some help, some counseling. So please see what we can do. We can arrange something in the family itself to help. That's one thing. Secondly is, as you say, if we don't forget, Bob, and this is another thing we're experiencing, is that people are really being generous at this time, especially our retreat centers. We've got 4 retreat centers in Brazil, 2 bigger ones and 2 smaller ones. And of course, at this time, there are no retreats, and there are not really centers that have people coming to them. So they require quite a bit of expense, but people have been so generous. And so the Brahmin families is a big family. So we can help each other if we know something. But I have to reach out for help. I have to be humble enough to say that I need help. And then we can see what we can do to reach out. Mm-hmm. And secondly, at a personal level, this thing is what you're saying. I have to be a giver if I want to receive. I can't be a taker and expect to receive. I have to be a giver if I want to receive. So I have to give. I have to help. I have to serve. There are many things that you can do these days, even to help your center from your home. You can at least send good vibrations, at least call up and see how their things are going. There's one great initiative in one of our centers. They have Borg delivery, a Borg delivery system. And so, people can't come to the center, but they prepare Borg, and they get someone to deliver it around to the houses of all of the Brahmins. It's amazing. So the Browning family is a big family and a good family. I have to be in the heart of it to get the help that I need. And we've got also a group of 10 health professionals here in Brazil that have come together. They're BKs, and they're available at any time to help at any level, like physical, mental, emotional. So we've got these sorts of initiatives happening to help people here and there.
Very good, very practical. Thank you. So I know there's a number of questions coming in, and please feel free to type them in this last segment that we will be able to answer any of those questions. Maybe, Ken, just another word for the other instruments out there who are in centers and can, obviously giving Vogue, making sure it's available to people. The giving is the principle, of course, but in helping those that are financially distressed, what would you advise? I mean, I'm thinking of getting people involved in giving so that their own karma changes. But, many people are shy to reach out, and instruments are always feeling the pulse to see how are people doing. And anything else?
I think if you remember in 2009, there was that huge financial I think the world lost $30 trillion from the end of 2008 into 2009. And of course, what's happening today is much worse than then. And at the time, Daddy Gulzar was still taking and bringing messages from Baba. And so we asked Baba, what should we do if we have money, let's say, if we have anything? And Baba said very clearly, use it. Use it for service. And if I understand that very simple principle, that if I have anything and I use it to serve, that will create the future. If I'm just hoarding it away, Baba says very clearly, the government will come along and take it, or the thieves will come along and take it. So if I have anything, I should use it in the most valuable way possible. And of course, if I have little, I start by helping with a little, and then I start to open the door a little bit more. But if I just hold it into my hand, and this is all I've got, I don't have anything, I can't help. You may protect what you've got in your hand, but nothing else will go there either, if you've got your fist closed.
Beautiful metaphor. Yeah, very good. Thank you. There was another question I was going to ask you. You had said, we wrote this God book together, and when we did the protection, God as protector, you had said, I can't it's not God that will protect me, it's my relationship with God. Can you just say a little bit about that? Because somebody's asked the question about blind faith. And what's the difference between blind faith and the faith that Mara was just speaking about, Could you just elaborate a bit on that? The difference between God will protect me and my relationship with God will protect me.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel, Baba's so available, he's always there in the same place, always a benefactor. I can go anytime and take as much as I want. The invitation is an open one. So why would I just stay here and sort of going around in circles in my own head? I need to open that. I need to make that bridge as quickly and as well as possible. And it's that connection, because if I have that relationship, it means I've got a fairly good heart-to-heart conversation with Baba, and even in a very difficult situation, Baba will just cover me with so much love and so much joy, I would say, that it makes the things of this world look so tiny, so insignificant. So the protection is is the quality of my conversation with Baba. That's my protection. It's not like in Bhakti that people think, God save me, or whenever people meet here, they always say, if you ask someone how are they say, I'm very well, God
be willing, or thank God.
Thank God. That's the absolute stock phrase here. So God is always in the language, but is it in the feeling as well? I've been in situations where I felt that protection, and very serious situations I've been in, and Baba just pulls me above the scene in an instant. So it has to be a real feeling, but that's the fruit of, as Baba says, you can't have that immediately if you haven't built it up beforehand. So you have to build it up, and then on the basis of whatever you've accumulated in your heart-to-heart conversations, that will have some weight when there's a difficult situation in front of you.
Thank you. So Marcelo has collected a bunch of questions, and Marcelo, if you would just type in the chat here on Zoom, then I can see right in front of me. I think that's easier. If you have, I know there have been many coming in, and I've caught some as they've come and asked them, but there might be some more that you've caught and you think will be useful. Anything either of you would like to add to the conversation so far in terms of maintaining financial security before we get a question? Please, Mara.
Yeah, there is something in Baba's Yaga that I think it is very accurate. So Baba has been teaching us since the beginning how to do things in a volunteer basis and out of love, not because we are going to charge this amount or that amount. So along the years we have been practicing this, how to be generous, how to give, and not really involved in money. So it will come because it's needed, but we have a different approach with money, which is very great, because this is the future. This is if you are with your thoughts only money, how much I have in the bank, this will not help you in any way. In a practical, world, it will not help you like this. So you must have something else. So this is something we have to keep in mind, that we have been practicing this. Money is a need, definitely. Finances is a need, but is also an energy. You can call it. That's why Baba teaches how prosperity and abundance is so important. You have this inside you. I am abundant. I am prosperous. Nothing is lacking for me because I'm Baba's child. I'm doing the right thing, even if I am at home. Everything will come to me. Then, practical side. I know, for example, nowadays, in everywhere, you are not in lockdown because you want to. You are not working because you don't want to. You are not working because you can't work. So this is something different. So, if you check, every one of us should check with the government, local government, if they are offering you any kind of help, even if it's a little help, maybe that's accurate for you at this time. Also, for example, you cannot pay your rent, but people all over the world, they cannot pay their rent at the moment. So even here, there are laws at the moment helping people if they cannot pay their rent. So like this, you check, you go and check. Maybe there is something for you and that you don't know at the moment, but there may be some kind of help. And if you are in such a, if you are worrying, if you are in need, you go to someone, go to your center, talk to them. If center cannot help, nationally, maybe someone can do something, or the coordinator or the group can do something. If not enough, go to your regional coordinator for some advice. they cannot help maybe in a different way, but they can see in a clear perspective, and it may be a great help for all of us at that time.
I think there's another thing too, if I can interrupt. At a personal level, I mean, one of those 5 stages that Judy was mentioning is from Baba is the worship-worthy state. But maybe at an individual level, I may not feel that I'm worthy of Baba's help for any reason, you know. There's a gap between what I can be and what I'm able to be. So this gap has to be something, because that sort of, you know, that will eat at my self-respect. And I think as I gather my self-respect internally, other things around me can help. And there's another thing that doesn't help is, I think Mara was talking about it too, the mentality of being poor. You know, this is an excuse that we hear so many times, but you know, how can you do things? People are poor. I live in a country which is extremely poor country, much poorer at an individual level than even Portugal. Because there are millions here that don't have $100 a month.
Yeah.
Millions of people. And so, you know, I can't do it because I'm not worthy of Baba's help. I just do the minimum necessary. I call it like they have a minimum salary in these countries. And so some people just do enough to earn a minimum salary, but at a spiritual level too. I shouldn't just be doing the minimum necessary to keep my foot in the door in Baba's door. I should do more. And if I have time, I have to work on feeling worthy of Baba, worthy of his help. And if I feel worthy of Baba's help, the things around me will turn out differently, for sure. I mean, we all have experienced that. And we all have experienced when our own feelings about ourselves go down, things also start to go crazy. So we all experience that. So this is an absolutely great opportunity to work out once and for all the relationship between the soul and God. Because everything will turn, that's the 2 wheels, right? Soul, God, and then there's an axle in between. The connection is my love for Baba, my understanding of Baba. And if that is moving ahead, the drama cannot impede it. The drama cannot block it. It will just go ahead. So these are, at a subtle level, at a spiritual level, we can work out the seeds of our impecunity, as we say, you know, our financial straits.
Fantastic.
They're karmic seeds that can be worked out, yes.
It is the way to be prepared, isn't it? I mean, there is having the food stocks, but the real preparation is this preparation, where anything that stands between me and my sense of closeness to Baba is interfering with my sense of security as a soul. Right. Now we've got 2 questions. Interesting here. One of them says, this may sound a bit uncaring, but given that Baba and Madhaban has been advising for decades that these times were going to come, remember Y2K? And I mean, I'm throwing out supplies from Y2K because we need to get new ones. But so Baba's been telling us for so long, why are we not prepared? Okay, so this time maybe I wasn't prepared at a practical level, so should we not learn and plan for future uncertain times? This is also an aspect of faith. Baba tells us something we need to follow, and then later we discover we are unprepared. So I don't know if that's a question or a comment. It sounds like a comment.
No, I think it's true. You know, I was in Chile once while I was there, and the family there, they've been, ever since they were little, they're told to have a sort of a bag, a small bag, a haversack or something, that they can put some basic supplies in, so that if there's an earthquake, they just grab the bag and it's got a few basic necessities, including water. No one in our Brahmin family had that ready when the earthquake happened. So they've
Really?
ever since they were little, they've been learning about this.
Wow.
So it was pretty violent. One sister lived on the 22nd floor of a building in Santiago, and you can imagine the building, of course, they're built not to fall down, but they sway, So her building was going like this and like this. Every single thing in the building, in her flat, broke, but the building didn't go down. So it was pretty violent. Huh. And so, what it seems like what's happening is that this pandemic is just one of many maybe to come. Who knows? This is just a milder version of something more serious. Who knows?
Yeah.
Secondly, whenever there's been an economic sort of breakdown like we're seeing now, there's been a war soon afterwards. So in 1911, there was a terrible, 1911, there was a terrible financial collapse. And then there was the First World War. From 1929 to 1939, there was the Depression, and then the Second World War. And these other wars that have been here all been about, normally about petroleum and money and so on. So who knows? And the way that the big powers are shaping up, and they're already threatening each other once again, Russia and the USA, China in the equation. Baba's been telling us about that too, so this is going to happen, folks. So I don't know how much we need to be shaken by events for these things to come in, because things are still mild compared to what's going to happen in the future when there will be blood flowing in the streets.
There's a couple questions here, and it's related, Ken, in the sense that, so we're learning to live simply now. And you said something at the beginning about, but our families maybe are, intense and we're calm, or, we're living simply, and once the doors open, everybody will get back out there and shop and, do what they want to do. So how does our situation, is it true that our situation of living simply, remaining safe under Baba's canopy will also protect our families? And, the yukti-yukt, not being so cool that we seem aloof and indifferent when other people are really upset about what's going on in the world. So any thoughts, either of you, on that?
It's a test of what, however much service we've done with our families, basically, that's gonna be there. Recently we did a talk in Portugal was on board as well, because it's the same language. I gave a talk to all of the family members of the Brahmins everywhere. It was really, really nice. And of course, it's sort of, what do we believe really? What do we understand as what is happening, and how we can make a spiritual jump at this time? And I think it must have helped many, many families.
Wonderful.
But this is a chance to explain why you feel what you feel.
And how did you explain that, Ken? What did you say?
No, I just said that I just described basically what we believe, that we are souls. We believe that there's a connection with the Supreme. And we believe that that connection can help us internally to face any difficulties that come up. Mm-hmm. And that there's something systemic going on. It's the relationship that human beings have with other human beings, and the relationship that human beings have with nature, and that's why all of this turmoil. Mm-hmm. So we can, at least at a personal level, we can redress that relationship as much as possible. And well, that's basically what I shared. Mana, you can maybe add something or the other.
Yeah, with the family connections.
With our family, I think that people are trusting us. Whatever they see we are doing, they can see the example and they can follow us. I think We have to be very in tune what is the need of the moment. We have to be aware of which kind of people we have in front of us. I also talk to my family many times, and I try to help as much as I can. You know, my family is also not here. They are in Brazil. And so I try to talk to them in a very practical way, and also setting the spiritual need of the moment, and how they should put, where they should put their thoughts, what is really important. You know, not really getting tangled in all this news and whatever is so many things going on in the world, but how to really focus your mind in one point only and move forward. And that if they do that, everyone will do the same. They will follow them. So they are giving this strength. I think this is what we can do to help people. If they feel they are responsible, they are important, even if they are not Brahmins, they can do their best. They can help, the best way. So I think this is very important.
And the feeling that they can do something, even giving with their minds, because so many people are frustrated that they can't do anything to help. They're stuck in their homes, and most of the souls we would be connected with would be, helpers. They'd want to help in some way, or they would feel the effect of it. And so, or they just want to get back to making money again. I've got a combination in my family, but the ones who really just want to be helping and they don't know what to do, knowing that they can do it with energy is really helpful, I find, for them.
Judy, I've also heard many other people doing such beautiful things outside. So for example, people who could not do their jobs anymore, and so then out of creativity, they created something that they could do to help others in a time of need. So I saw it in a personal level. So people like sewing, like masks, so they can give it away, not for money, but for giving it away. Or people putting together, I've heard there is now, someone had the idea, I don't know in which country, that, a box of food that people can put whatever they want on the street somewhere, and whoever is in need, they can go there and collect it, for example. Or even I've seen companies, people really, they had really doing, I remember one in Portugal, they are in the wine business, okay, not for us, but people love it, so it's their business. So okay, they cannot sell that anymore. So then what they started doing, they have changed it. So whatever they had in stock, they started using to produce alcohol and also products to clean hospitals, to clean houses, mostly for hospitals. Not for selling, for giving it away. So this is great. So we are also creative. So people outside are so creative. Use your thoughts. People, they can use their mind. What are they are going to do? To pass their time, or to help. How can they use their time to help other people? They can do it, and this is great.
And we're inspired in ourselves doing all kinds of creative things, aren't we? Things we didn't think we would do before on Zoom. And so, as long as we're creating, in a way, we're protected because we're in a giving flow, right? We're creating for the benefit of others. One of the questions that came up was around how to deal with these eruptions that were predicted. Sister Chanti had predicted now's the time of eruptions. How to deal with some of these eruptions of the anger, the distress, the disheartenment that people are feeling. And maybe this situation was just a catalyst to bring all that out. And the question is how to deal with some of those.
Under the carpet, you see. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that had been swept under the carpet that we weren't giving attention to. So now that we're sort of many Brahmins live alone. So they're there with themselves and the four walls that they have to face. Sometimes they can get out and move around. Some places they can't. Or we've been thrust together with our fellow Centre Niwasis that we would only used to see just morning time and in the evening because we'd go out for jobs. And so now we're all thrust together so that if there's anything that was not being dealt with, it will definitely become very, very clear and evident. And also if before we would go to the centre and go to work and be with our families also for a couple of hours a day or 3 hours, three waking hours a day maybe. And now it's like 24 hours by 7. So whatever is real in us will come to the surface. And whatever we've been hiding will come to the surface also. And so this is why Baba says that like the results will be announced type of thing, that we're seeing the results of whatever efforts we've done in the past. Good results and sometimes not so good results. So this is a chance that every single place, wherever we are, will probably become a palace of mirrors. We see ourselves, we see our ugly side and our good side, and it's time to really work on that deep loving connection with Baba so that I don't become dismayed with the terrible sanskars that may be appearing, and I don't become eluded by, I don't have the illusion when something good appears either. So both things. It's really the time to work on the relationship with Baba. One sister, for example, said today that she had such a terrible reaction to someone yesterday, another Brahmin. And so when she sat in Amrit Bell or in a meditation, I think it was an evening meditation, she said that she just melted into the ocean of love, that's Baba. And it made that reaction, that terrible reaction that she had, completely insignificant. So just the Baba's love was so much more powerful in the situation. That's what we have to use at this time.
I don't know if you're finding this too, Mara, but I have found, and I've heard from others, that because we're doing this United Yoga Bhakti, there is just so much more energy being generated that we're almost seeing what was under the carpet coming out almost every day, something coming out, but the energy to face it without, like you're saying, Ken, without being destroyed by it. It's there, I can see it, and somehow I'm able to deal with it. I'm able to see it without falling apart. I mean, are you finding any of this, Mara? What is this United Yoga Bhakti doing for your overall sense of well-being and stability?
It's true. So what we see that, before the Yoga Bhakti question, what we can see is that this is a good time for checking the self, because as you're saying just now, who you really are, what is behind the things you do, because now you have to stay back wherever you are and you have to be in silence, you have to be with yourself, you have to be with people in the center, as Ken was saying, and so many things will show up, will come up. So then we have to use a lot of this power to accommodate, this power of love, maturity. And definitely all the tapasya we have been doing is amazing. It really creates such an amazing kind of energy that is also helping to healing us inside, and also gives us stability as a family. Because even through the screen, we can feel the vibration coming from all over the world. So I would say that yes, this is a big challenge. Whatever is hidden will show up, normal. We know it's going to happen this way. But at the same time, I would say not that the meditation is triggering it, is bringing it up, but the meditation is helping to heal it. And so we are together. We know there are other people all around the world. They are with us. They are our brothers and sisters. We are not alone. If they are doing it, I can do it also. So I think it's a very, very big help. Also the classes where everyone is together, we feel the vibration through it. So it's an amazing moment of checking, but also we need to be very mature. You see, I think we have to check ourselves and be very mature. And also to see that others are going through their own moments. And so only with this maturity and power to accommodate, we can really find a peaceful place and atmosphere where everyone can be together, live together, and share together.
That's beautiful, Mara. I think that will bring us to closure here. Maybe a final word from Ken, but I know we've reached our hour and a half, and we've gone through most of the questions, which is great in some form or another. So I hope everyone has got something to take away from that conversation. I know we could speak more, and there are lots of individual little questions, but the main ones I think we've answered. Ken, a note to before we close from you, and maybe just a minute of meditation together.
Okay, I think one of the things that I was thinking about in terms of making since the topic is about our financial situation, probably the worry is at an individual level, even though we cover the other dimensions of how we are, why we are where we are. But if I can somehow, whatever I do professionally, I have the attitude that is also service. It's not something separate from my spiritual life. That is also one of the dimensions of my spiritual life. So I just have different places of service. As Baba says, I have a place where I work, I have a place where I live, I have a center where I attend. And in fact, in terms of the soul, I am just one soul. I'm not 3 or 4 or 5. So I'm the same person wherever I am. And whatever I have to do in this world has to be of use to the world and the way I do it. So if I change my attitude towards my work too, I probably can guarantee it more, because it has a spiritual dimension to it and not just a money one. So I just wanted to add that.
Beautiful.
So let's have some meditation then.
Yeah, I think we have about a minute.
So shall I say something? Just a sentence? So just to say thanks for this special moment, and that Baba said, always been saying that to make the impossible possible is up to us. So we are entitled to this because we are God's children. Baba is with us. So let's give the proof now that the impossible can become possible.
Beautiful.
That's a good thing to meditate on.
There we go. Om Shanti. Thank you to both of you, and thanks to everyone else who came, and thank you, Marcelo Bai, for your bhavna in creating this.